This is a Glendale Library Arts and Culture program, created for teens, edited and hosted by the Teen Library staff. Check out community service opportunities and teen events down in the description box.
Hi everyone, this is Melissa.
And Desiree.
Welcome to the guest episode of Teen Gen Talks.
Today's guest is currently an auditor for a major accounting firm. She was born in Glendale before moving to Utah and returned several years later, where she went to Clark Magnet High School. After graduating high school, she attended Pasadena City College for 2 years and received her associate's degree in business administration and then transferred to Cal State Northridge. There, she majored in accounting and business honors and was deeply involved with the student body. Before she was involved in accounting, she worked at the Glendale Library for 5 years as a library assistant.
Grab a snack and drink, and let's welcome Anna Hakopian to Teen Gen Talk. So thank you, Anna, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. We have a lot to discuss.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so let's kick off this interview. Let's go back in time when you lived in Utah. Is there anything you miss about Utah?
I'd have to say I lived in a really open area, and we lived in like a little cul-de-sac. So as a kid, that was probably the coolest thing to have, because you can just play in the middle of the street, not worry about anybody. And it was a really clean and friendly neighborhood. So we could visit our neighbor's house anytime we wanted, like kind of like you see on TV, where the kids just are out in the streets all day, not worrying about anything, and then coming home for dinner. So those are fun memories.
In high school, you went to Clark Magnet High. What clubs were you in?
When I was in Clark, I was in Kids Against Tobacco Smoking, or CATS Club. And I was also a part of the mock trial team.
Was there a reason why you chose these clubs to be a part of? And did you have a favorite club?
I did mock trial because back when I was in high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. So that was a really great way to introduce myself into the whole process of what's it like being a lawyer, being in court. With CATS, it was more of a social thing. So a lot of my friends were in it, and that's how I got hooked into it. I stayed much longer than I wanted to, but it was a positive experience because I got to interact with middle school students every year. It was a cool experience.
Since you went to Clark, at the end of the year, you have a senior project. What did you do?
Funny you mentioned that. So for my senior project, I was kind of picking something and then changing my mind, like most people do with their senior projects. That was when at the time she was a branch manager, Hala, came to our class and was sharing opportunities for high school students to come up with programs at the library. I signed up for that slot, and I decided I was going to teach myself origami, host origami workshops for little kids, and make a little book. So the final product of my senior project was a little origami book. It wasn't the most sophisticated looking one, but it was enough for me to pass.
For you, was it the right choice to go to a 2-year college first, then go straight into a 4-year university?
That's a big question, because at the time I thought I was qualified enough to apply to maybe the more top universities, but after some soul searching in my senior year, because that's what you do, I decided to go straight to a 2-year college because I wasn't comfortable enough to quite leave home yet. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do or how to get to my end destination. University is not cheap, and I know I wouldn't get a lot of scholarships or financial aid to cover those expenses. So going to a 2-year college was probably the best choice, because besides saving a lot of money, and there's a lot of community colleges that are online or nearby in the Glendale area. You also take the time to transition from high school to college a lot smoother, and you enjoy yourself. I think the first 2 years of your college should be you enjoying yourself, making mistakes, picking what what major you want to do, taking fun classes. And again, it's cheaper and a little easier than university.
So can you talk a little bit about business administration and why you got an associate's degree in that?
The reason I got my associate's degree was at the recommendation of my community college counselor. Some of these community colleges are partnered with the UCs or the Cal States. They said it's an easier transition if you get an associate degree in a specific subject, depending on what major you are. So that's why mine is business administration with a focus on finance. CSUN was one of the universities that had that program. So all you need to do is take a few extra classes. I took maybe 3 extra classes on various business topics to get my associate. So it wasn't like I strayed too far into it. Maybe I had to hustle a few summer classes in between to make sure I transferred on time. But an associate's degree is just you showing that you're taking a little extra effort to really show that you are passionate about your field.
So you mentioned CSUN. Why did you go to CSUN?
So CSUN wasn't my first choice for at least accounting. I was going to go to USC or maybe UC San Diego or one of the San Diego colleges. I picked CSUN because I was at a family event where our family CPA, who is also a professor at CSUN, kept pestering me about going to CSUN. He's like, CSUN's number 3 accounting program in the country, number three. Why aren't you applying? And I thought about it and I said, it's not bad to apply to CSUN. So I did, and I did apply to other schools, but I wasn't as interested in them as I did with CSUN. At that point, I thought anything that was further than Pasadena, Glendale, or Burbank was too far for me. But once I got accepted into CSUN and I started attending it, everything opened up for me.
So how did you fall in love with accounting and know that it was your passion?
A lot of people say don't pick something for the money, but let's be real. When people think of accounting, it's a financially stable job. Even during these times, you can still find yourself any job with an accounting degree. It doesn't have to be specifically an accountant position. The field itself is really flexible, which appealed to me later on. Like, I can do anything with my degree. And I didn't discover my love for accounting until I finally transferred to CSUN and I started to really get into the subject. The primary reason I fell in love with accounting is there are so many rules and regulations. And it's gonna sound boring, but I love rules. I like following rules. I like making people follow those rules. And it's not an easy thing. People that know accounting really well and apply these rules and regulations for their clients' benefit make a lot of money. So, I mean, some people will say, I like numbers. I like giving financial advice. Yeah, that's all fun, but
Rules. How did you get involved with VITA, VITA?
Yeah, VITA.
VITA, there we go.
Yeah, so VITA is Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. It's a free tax clinic. I got started during my when I first transferred to CSUN. They always kind of recruit accounting students specifically to volunteer during the spring semester. I received one of their emails one day and I'm like, oh, I need to jump on this. I had no accounting experience. So I'm like, this is perfect. Why would I not want to do this? And since then, I've been very committed to it.
What has been your favorite internship you have done?
They're all kind of my favorite. Obviously, I picked them. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't have picked them. But I have kind of different rankings for each one. Like, I'd say maybe the most entertaining one was my internship with the IRS, because I got to tell people I learned how to cuff criminals. Like, I don't know why they decided it was a good idea. They had all the interns learn how to cuff each other and fingerprint them. One guy told us of how he doesn't have fingerprints, which is very kind of criminal-like.
Yeah.
But I would have to say, if I had to say a favorite, would be my most recent internship last year was with PwC, or PricewaterhouseCoopers. That one was the most entertaining because when you get into accounting, you learn about happy hours. And you also learn about coffee runs. I think I went on a coffee run in downtown LA at least twice a day.
So you know, like, all the good coffee places in downtown LA by now, probably.
I can't speak. I know I'm not confident enough to say, yes, I know all the good coffee places. I know the good coffee places within like a 1-block radius.
You are currently an auditor for an auditing firm. What is it?
My specific position is clients pay us to review their financial statements. So like their balance sheet, their income statements, and other relevant financial documents to make sure they're valid, they're verifiable. And if they're not, then at the end of an audit, we publish a report describing what we found, and we just kind of report our findings. So the best way I can explain an audit is, when you think of audits, you kind of think of the IRS audits, where they're trying to make sure everything you told them is true, or at least it's valid. That's kind of what we do. Now, there's different capacities for it. One client I worked on has a bank loan. The reason they want to do an audit is to have proof to the bank that, we're keeping up.
Mm-hmm.
We're being honest. We're not lying to you. There's a million different reasons why somebody would want to pay to be audited.
So what is your typical work day for you then?
Well, before COVID, it would be probably start with going to the clients, sometimes the long commute. So listen to a good podcast on the way, check emails, see what needs to be done. Sometimes there will be a quick team meeting just to recap what needs to be done or what's urgent. The majority of the day is composed of small meetings, a little back and forth with the clients. It's mostly just client interaction with these audits. And depending on what stage of the audit you are, you're interviewing the client to see what documents you need, or you're in a team meeting to discuss certain aspects of it, or you're just actually running tests on the supporting documents they provided you.
Before we end, we have some rapid fire questions. What's your favorite color?
I have to say black. Everything goes well with black.
What is your favorite part about working with taxes?
My favorite part? Doing the research. When you learn something new, you just get excited, like, ooh, how can I exploit this for my client's benefit?
What is a tip for someone doing their taxes on their own?
If you're doing your taxes on your own, I would say the best tip is be organized. Make sure you have everything. And if you're not sure, either ask or spend enough time to do research.
What is some advice that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just relax, enjoy yourself. If all the events up until today were going to happen, I probably would have taken it easier.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
3 words. Shy, a stickler, and a nerd.
If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
I've always wanted to be pyrokinetic, which is being able to control fire.
Wow. If you could have 3 people, dead or alive, for guest dinners, who would they be?
Freddie Mercury, Stephen King, and I think Robin Williams.
What does success for you mean right now?
Success right now is actually just accomplishing something. So, I mean, people say about it's the progress, it's the values, but actually finishing a project or just accomplishing something off a list is enough for me to say it's a success.
What is a book that you have recently or currently reading that you would recommend?
I'm going through my rereading phase. So I reread Salem's Lot by Stephen King, and oh my God, it's still scary. And this was it's a vampire book, but this was like vampire book in the 70s before Twilight happened. So everything's original, everything's fresh. It's a refresher.
Thank you so much, Anna. We learned a lot about you. Thank you for taking the time every day to talk with us. Can you let everyone at home know about upcoming projects and where they can connect with you?
If you're interested in setting and learning how to network, or if you're interested in getting involved with accounting or accounting related activities, you can always reach me on LinkedIn. You can also browse on LinkedIn for any business topics or professional topics, depending on what you want to get involved with. If you shoot me a connection, just let me know how you found me, and I'll be happy to start a conversation.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. It's Desiree again.
Yeah, Melissa,
Did you enjoy this episode?
I'm sure you did.
Then please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications for this channel.
Check out the teen content video playlist here and our latest Teen Gen episode here.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.